Hello, my name's Louise Myers and I'm the manager of the International Student Support Team at JCU. And we have a team up in Cairns and a team in Townsville as well. And I'll introduce you to those guys in a moment. Before we go any further, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which JCU is meeting today. In Townsville, that's the Walgarookaba and the Bindal people. And up in Cairns, it's the Yidinji, Jabberkai and Yirraganji people. I'd like to acknowledge their elders past, present and emerging and the contributions they've made to our society that we live in today. All of the information that we're talking about today will be available in the pre-departure guide, and that's available on the JCU website, but Catherine will also pop the link to that into our chat box now. So once again, all the links will go into the chat box and you can copy them into your own document and you can refer to them later. All right. Important information is, what are we meeting for today? We're meeting so you can be introduced to the International Student Support Team. We're the guys who are going to be here to help you when you arrive, as well as the Enrollment Team and the Client Services Team, where you go to people when you get to JCU to help you get settled and everything sorted out, ready for your study. You can contact us. Their contact details are on the screen now. The email is internationalsupport@jcu.edu.au. All right. We're going to go through a little bit of what you can expect when you arrive and the planning and preparation you need to do before you get here as well today. So up in Cairns, we have Shangyang Guo and Christine Martin, and Christine joins us today. Say hi, Christine.
Hi everyone, I'll be seeing you, those of you who come to Cairns campus. I'll look forward to meeting you when you get here.
Thanks, Christine. And Shangyang will also meet you. She's just not on the webinar today. And in Townsville, we have Alex Salvador, who's off assisting students this morning. Myself, Linda. Say hi, Linda. Linda Edwards.
Good morning, everybody. I really look forward to meeting you when you arrive in Townsville.
We have Lyndall, who's not joining us, but we also have Catherine Elliott, who's joining us today. Say hi, Catherine.
Hi, everyone. Can't wait to meet you all soon, hopefully.
Catherine and Linda and Alex are all international student advisors in Townsville, as Christine and Shangyang are international student advisors in Cairns. All right. We might kick off. First of all, Catherine, would you like to do this section on doing your research before you get here? Thanks, Catherine.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Lou. So we do have some really great social media sites to go and do your research about JCU and what it's actually like to live here in Townsville and in Cairns. If you're not already on Facebook, in our Townsville and Cairns JCU Internationals Facebook group, so these are private groups that you can request to join up to. Please go and join up there. You can ask students questions, get a perspective of a current international student. You can, put up a post saying that you're arriving soon, get to meet people before you're actually here in Australia. So it's a really great way to sort of, find out what's happening on campus, in the community. We also have Instagram as well, and the JCU on YouTube has lots of videos about, campus life and all the great things there are to do. Cool, thanks, Lou. I think we're going into some academic enrolment advice now.
Thanks, Catherine. Yeah, well, before we hand over to Casey, our gorgeous enrolment officer, I just wanted to point out to you that everything that we're going through today in the webinar, we will be going through it again when you arrive on campus at our orientation session. So please don't be overwhelmed and trying to keep up with every single detail. This is just a general overview for you. At JCU, we use the word enroll when we're talking about enrolling into the subject. But then we say the word register when you're registering for your class at a certain time on a certain day. So that's where you form your timetable. But over to you, Casey. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Lou. Good morning, everyone. My name is Casey. So I'm an enrolment officer here in Townsville. One moment. Okay. Can you see my PowerPoint? Yeah, it's beautiful. Okay, so the enrollment team, how can we help you? So the enrollment team can help you with individualized study plans. We can assist you in providing advice on your study plans, your subject enrollment, class registration, course enrollment help, and we also provide student appointments either by phone, video, or face-to-face in Townsville or Cairns. These are some websites on the side that I'll just quickly flick through to give you a view. So this one is on the JCU webpage. This is our enrollments webpage. It has some different information about enrolling and also where to book an appointment. When you click on booking an appointment, you'll be taken to another page and you can put in all your details and in your question, pick a day. We book appointments 7 days in advance, Monday to Friday from 10 till 2. So the enrollment process, we encourage you to download your course enrollment planner from the webpage or refer to your personalised study plan you are provided upon your admission. You can also review your course handbook on the webpage. What we'd like you to check is the academic calendars for like the last date to enroll, class registration close, and when the study period actually starts. Once you have checked all those, we're going to log into what's called eStudent, and you'll be able to enroll in your subjects. Also in eStudent is where you register for your class times. I'll take you through an example in a moment. So these are our course enrollment planners. If your course enrollment planner is not on this page, you can email the enrollments team at enrollments@jcu.edu.au, and we'll be able to create your personalised one. These ones are our handbooks. So these are an overview of every single course that is offered at JCU. This one is our academic calendar. We have an academic calendar for every single study period. Over at the side here, you'll notice that each one has specific dates for when they begin, last date, orientation week. You also have your international orientation as well. This is a web page called our subject search. This will display all information about your subjects, including descriptions, outcomes, assessment pieces, who your coordinator and lecturers are, and also what is expected of that course. Subject, sorry. So this page is our eStudent. This is what you will see on your homepage. Your name will be at the top. We are going to enroll in a subject. So we're going to select My Study Plans, which takes you to this page. We'll then choose My Study Plans again. Depending on how long you've been eager to come to JCU, you might have a few different offers sitting here. What we will be looking for is your course and your admitted course. Once we select that one, you could come up with this error. This error is saying that you need to confirm some of your personal details before you're able to enroll. To confirm these ones, they will take you to our My Details page in eStudent, and you will go through and check all these and confirm. Once you have confirmed, we're back on study plans. In study plans here, we've chosen our admitted course. This is what you will see. This one, for example, is Bachelor of Science. We're going to scroll down. The very first thing in your course, depending if you have majors, you need to choose a major before enrollment. Any of your electives or choice items will be on the right side of eStudent. And for this example, these are all the majors that are available in Townsville. And I'm going to choose Zoology and Ecology for this example. I need to click Add to Study Planner. This will then provide an example of all of the subjects, and I have to make sure that I always save. Now we can see the Bachelor of Science and my major, Zoology and Ecology, and all of the subjects. When you can enroll in a subject, it will be shaded blue. When you are not able to enroll in a subject, it will be white. From the drop-down box, you're going to choose the correct offering that will relate to you, either in Townsville or in Cairns. This example, I'm choosing Townsville. I'm then going to come across, it's going to pre-fill here, and on the side here, we have an enroll with a little tick. Once you click this tick, It will be shaded green. And down the bottom, we're going to enroll in that subject. You get taken to this top page and it will say, basically, please check your enrollment. So you check your subject, you make sure that you check where it is offered and internal. And if that's all correct, we want to confirm. And then you'll be told success. You have successfully enrolled in your subject. And this part here will change from planned to enrolled. Once we return, we can come to current enrollment, and this will also confirm further that this is the subject we're enrolled in. Our next stage is the My Timetable. So you're enrolled in your subject. Now you need to register for your classes. So next to My Study Plans at the top here is My Timetable. When you are enrolled in subjects, they will show up here in different colours. Right now, study period 2 is not open for registration. It will open in the first week of July. Once it is open, you will see multiple colours of each subject, and they will have different offerings and times. One will be like a workshop, and then there could be lectures or tutorials. You will select one and then register for that time that suits you. Once you're registered, it will say all classes registered, and you'll have a little tick. So the enrollment team, everybody is happy to help you at any point that you need. And we're all very friendly and we're happy to help. You can contact us at enrollments@jcu.edu.au. You can book an appointment via online, or you can call the Student Centre and get transferred through. Thank you.
Thanks, Casey. We had a couple of questions popping up in the chat box then. Thanks for sending your questions through. I think they've already been answered. Someone asked about external versus internal. External just means you're studying everything online. You don't come into the university campus to do face-to-face classes. Internal is you come on campus, you have classes with other students and you see the lecturer. Were there any other questions in the Q&A, Catherine or Linda or Christine, that we need to address before we move on?
I would like to just say we also have mixed attendance. So mixed attendance is another type of subject offering. So mixed attendance is between external and internal. You will have some campus, like on-campus requirements, but you may also have like some online lectures as well.
All right, are we ready to move on, or are there any questions? I think I'll start sharing my screen again. Actually, we might go straight over to you, Jackie.
Sure. Hi, let me just share my screen. Someone is sharing still. Hang on.
No, I've stopped sharing. Sorry.
Okay. Okay, are we seeing
Yes.
slideshow? Brilliant. Okay, so my name is Jackie. I'm the supervisor of the client service team on the Cairns campus. Client services, we look after a range of things for you, which I'll go through. We can help you with pretty much anything that you hear in all of these presentations. If you're not sure or you've forgotten where to go and what to do and how to do it, come and see us, because we can help you with pretty much all of it. And if we can't actually help you, we certainly know who can, and we'll direct you to the right people or give you the right contacts. So we're a bit of a first port of call for if you've got questions and you're just not sure, come and see us and we'll give you help. So we can help you with your enrolment and class registration. So if you're just having trouble navigating through that e-student process, you can come in to see us at the counter. We can help you. You don't need an appointment, or you can give us a call or jump on chat. So we can help you just navigate through those systems if you're a bit lost and get your enrolment sorted. Questions about credit, or if you've got questions about your fees or want to pay fees, you can come and see us. Student ID cards, academic records and completion letters, important dates and results, any questions you've got about your results, if you're not sure, you want to appeal, anything, you come and see us and we can help you with all of that. So just, that's my advice, is if you're not sure, come and see us. So one of the things you'll need to do After you've enrolled into your subjects, you can get your student ID card. Now, this is something that you can do two ways. You can jump onto the website, search student ID cards and apply for it online by uploading a photo that meets the criteria as stated on the website, and then we'll print it and you can come in and collect it. Or if you don't want to upload your own photo, you can just come into the student centre on campus and we can take your photo there and print it and give it to you on the spot. So two ways you can go about that. The other thing to consider is when you're full-time enrolled, you do qualify for a tertiary transport concession sticker on your ID card. So this gives you discounted fares on the public transport on the buses. So worth doing if you are going to be travelling around on buses. Another thing I wanted to direct you to is our Ask Us database. So outside of us having all the answers, the website actually has a lot of answers. So you'll find this on the current students page and various other places on the website, or you can just search for it and you can literally ask anything. If you're not sure, put a terminology or a question in here. Most of the time it's going to have an answer. Anything from, like you can see on the screen, what are my SSA fees if you're not sure? Where can I get food on campus? Am I allowed to have a pet in my accommodation? Like literally anything. There's so much information in here. So maybe start here with your question, and then if you still can't find it, come and see us. So Casey mentioned the academic calendars and important dates. This is really important to have a look at these and get to know these dates. A couple that I want to point out are the census date for each study period. That's one where you really need to have all your enrollment sorted. You can't withdraw from a subject or change your subjects after that date without getting the financial penalty, so you'll still pay for it. So it's a really important date to have your enrollment sorted by, as well as the payment due date. Be aware of your payment due date for each study period, because all your fees, including your SSA fees, need to be paid by this date. So get to know those dates on your academic calendars. Now, the current students page on the website is where you will find links and information to all of the things I've spoken about, and a lot of the things that Casey has spoken about also. So links to all your student portals, where you do your enrolment, Learn JCU, where all your subject information is, Students Online, which is where you'll find your exam times tables when that comes about. Also links to, you can see the Ask Us bar there, so you can ask questions. Further down on the page, you've got links to enrollment planners, how to get your ID. So anything you sort of need to do as a current student, you're going to be able to find on this page. So it's a good page to bookmark and get familiar with on the website. So Casey went through eStudent and the steps to enroll. eStudent is also where you update your personal details, where you can see your fees, make payments on your fees, where your timetable is, where you've got information on applying for scholarships. So there's lots in here other than just enrolling. It's sort of your portal for your account, your student account, where you manage all of that stuff. So again, if you are navigating or looking for things in eStudent and you're not sure how to do it, come and see us. We can give you a hand as well. The course enrolment planners, which Casey mentioned on the website, really important resource. So jump on and grab them when you can. If you can't find them, come see us, we'll give you a hand. Now, our top 3 tips for students. First one is ask the question. So there's no such thing as a stupid question. Ask your lecturer, ask the library, ask us, ask the database. So don't wander around being not sure. Definitely ask someone. And if you're not sure who to ask, come and ask us. So we are real people and we're here to help. We want to help you. So don't be scared to come and see us. And another point is, if you're on break during study break and holidays and vacations, we're not on break. So we're still available if you need help during those times. The other thing is use the resources. We've got a lot of great resources to help you through our website. So the Learning Centre on campus can help with so many of your study support questions. You can get assignments sort of read and get feedback on them. You can get tips and points on research and finding the right tools to do your assessments. Studiosity is an online tool you've got where you can upload an assessment before you submit it and get that feedback back. So that's 24 hours. You can upload it and get it from academics all over the place. See your librarians. They're amazing to help you with researching correctly and getting all the right databases and things for your course and your specific subjects. So definitely go and see them. And we have careers and wellbeing as well, counselling services. There's so many resources on campus for you to access. So I advise to use them all. They're all there for you. And if you're not sure where to go, come see us and we'll tell you. So the ways in which you can contact me and my team. So we do have a team in Cairns and in Townsville. You can come and see us at the Student Centre. So in Townsville, they're in building 134, Cairns building A1. You can jump on the website, send us an email. We've got live chat all over the website. You can book a call for us to call you back. And you can use that database as well to ask questions. So that's all from me.
Thanks, Jackie. That was a lot of information and really important information, but you didn't have to remember every detail. There's been a few questions coming through the Q&A and the chat box. I just wanted to remind everyone that this recording will be available on the 7th of July. We'll send it to you. But the pre-departure guide has all of this information in it. Just on sending your questions through, at the beginning of the session, I said you could send it through the chat or through the Q&A. It's getting a little bit tricky to keep track of where the questions are. So can I just ask everyone, if you have a question, send it through, but we'll send all the questions in the Q&A. So they can be answered in the Q&A, and then any of the special links that we're putting in, you can find them in the chat. So we'll keep those two things separate. There were a couple of questions around study periods and the unique student identification number, the USI. We're going into a little bit more about that later on, but if you are having any difficulties getting a USI, it's because you cannot apply for one until you're actually onshore in Australia. It shouldn't prevent you from enrolling, but if it does and you can't skip that step, please contact the enrollments team and they'll be able to assist you, or you can just wait until you get to Australia and enroll in your subjects. There is absolutely no rush to get that done until you get here. All right, we are going to move on. Okay, let's have a look now at booking accommodation. Catherine, I think you're going to talk us through this one. I'll just share my screen. Thanks, Catherine.
All right, cool. Thanks, Lou. Yeah, so I'll talk to you a little bit about the different accommodation options, both on campus and off campus. So in Townsville and Cairns, we do have on-campus accommodation available. From what we've been told for study period 2, it is getting really quite limited places available at the different halls and colleges on campus. So if you are still thinking about wanting to live on campus and you haven't booked yet, we strongly recommend that you go after this webinar, go online, submit your application, but also keep in mind that if you do not get in, it's good to have a backup option as well. So we can also talk to you about off-campus accommodation options. So again, with on-campus, we do have different halls and colleges here at JCU in Townsville and Cairns. They offer different types of things. Some might offer 3 meals a day, whereas some are self-catering, where you have to buy your own food and cook it there in the kitchens. They all are different costs as well, and we'll pop up a link in the chat box shortly to the different options that you have available and all of their costs. Yeah, I just wanted to reiterate that definitely, please, if you haven't applied already for on-campus, do your application as soon as possible today. Off-campus is also a really great option. Off-campus is usually a little bit cheaper than on-campus, but you do also need to find your own or pay for transport costs to campus every day. We will put up a post shortly about some off-campus options available. You can look on Facebook. There's also a lot of different websites that you can have a look at as well to find share houses and accommodation. If you are looking at off-campus, please don't sign any agreement or contract before you arrive in Australia. What we suggest you do is that you book into some temporary accommodation first, either in a hotel, a hostel, Airbnb, and book that for a week. So that will give you some time to go around and visit the different rental options available. There are sort of share house accommodation available, which is, you know, it might cost between $150 to $200 per week. Some of those will include your electricity and your internet costs. So when you're looking at all of the different options, just make sure that you confirm with the landlord what that rental cost includes. We also suggest that you do a bit of research on the Residential Tenancy Authority website. So that just lists out all of your rights and obligations as a tenant in Australia. So yeah, the Residential Tenancy Authority as well as Tenants Queensland websites have lots of really good, easy to understand fact sheets and information for you to go through. Cool. So booking your travel. Hopefully you're looking at doing that soon if you haven't already done that. Just some important dates to remember when you're booking travel is that we would really love for you to attend the International Student Orientation, which is on Monday, the 18th of July. So please arrive in time to attend that. We suggest maybe arriving a week before that at least, just to give yourself some time to settle in, you know, get over your jet lag, and then be able to attend the orientation.
Yeah, sorry, you might have just been about to say this and I jumped in too soon, but the orientation is compulsory. Yeah. Every international student must attend. Yeah. If for some impossible reason you can't get here for Monday, the 18th of July, you will still have to do an orientation with us, but we'll have to make arrangements for that with you in person. So that's a really important date and it is compulsory. But thank you, Catherine.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I was going to definitely say that as well. And we'll talk a little bit more about what our orientation day involves a little bit later in the webinar. But going on to the arrival pickup service. So if you are arriving between the 4th and the 17th of July, we can arrange to pick you up from the airport or the bus station or the train station for free and take you to your accommodation. So you do need to submit a booking form for this, and you can do that online and we'll pop that in the chat box as well. So in Townsville, we have arrival team members who are made up of current international students. They will meet you and greet you at the airport in Townsville, help you get your luggage and help you make your way to our transport company. In Cairns, we've got a lovely transport company who will greet you and then take you to your accommodation. So please just make sure you book that at least 2 weeks before you're due to arrive. That just gives us time to organise it and confirm with you that we can pick you up. Also, if your flights change, if you're going to be arriving a little bit later than expected, please just send us a quick email and let us know so we can inform our transport providers. And yeah, I think that's all about booking the arrival service. So on to cost of living. So in Australia, it can be quite expensive to live here. It might be quite different to what you're used to back at home. So we'd really love for you to do a bit of research and just plan out your budget a bit before you arrive. Some things to consider in your budget is obviously your accommodation costs. You'll know if you're on campus accommodation, you'll know exactly what that costs. But if you're looking at off-campus accommodation, we usually sort of recommend at least $150 per week for that. With off-campus as well, there will be some costs that you need to pay for straight away, which will include your bond. And that is equivalent to 4 weeks rent, and you pay for that straight away and it gets held by the Residential Tenancy Authority. And then when you move out, as long as the room is in a good condition, you'll get that bond money back. You also will need to pay 2 weeks rent in advance as well. So just make sure that, you know, when you're looking at off-campus accommodation and you're contacting landlords, find out what all those costs are, whether or not the rent per week also includes, you know, your electricity, your internet, gas, if you have gas. We do also recommend that you bring with you between so $1,500 to $2,000 when you first arrive. That will just help you to pay for all those accommodation costs that you need to pay for straight away. And obviously, you know, you need to take into account your ongoing living costs, your transport, your textbooks, food, electricity, all of that kind of stuff. You will be able to work. You will be able to start working once your course has started at JCU. So you can start sort of looking around at on the different career websites for part-time jobs. But please just make sure that you're not sort of overcommitting yourself to work. You know, you'll be here to study. So, you know, it can be sometimes a little bit tricky trying to balance, you know, working and studying as well. And working, although it does give you an income, it may not be able to provide enough to cover all of your living costs. So just keep that in mind. At the moment, there is also a temporary relaxation of the working hours that a student visa holder can do. That sort of is being reviewed by the Department of Home Affairs, so that can possibly change at any moment as well. So we suggest that you just keep an eye on the Department of Home Affairs website for information on that. So usually as a student visa holder, you can work up to 40 hours per fortnight. That has been relaxed, so you can work full time. However, that change or that relaxation can go back at any time. All right, so opening a bank account. Some banks in Australia do allow you to open a bank account before you actually arrive in Australia. So what we suggest you do is just go onto Google, search migrant banking, and that will give you some options for the different banks in Australia. I know that the Commonwealth Bank of Australia is it's one of the big banks here. You can open an account with them. Just make sure you do your research with the banks. But if you're going to be, you know, transferring money between overseas and Australia, just make sure that you're aware of the costs involved to do that. And ask the questions with the banks as well if they have student accounts. Some banks offer these student type of accounts where you don't have to pay account keeping fees every month and that. On campus in Townsville, we do have 2 ATM machines where you can withdraw money. In Cairns, there isn't an ATM on campus as such, but there is one at the shopping centre, which is quite close to the campus. Just again with banking, so if you do happen to open a bank account before you arrive in Australia, when you do come on shore, you will need to visit the bank, provide your identity. There will be some forms of ID that you need to present to them, and that will be so you can activate your account and order your ATM card and talk to them about the account and things like that. Yeah, I think that's all on banking. Yeah, let us know if you have any questions. We're always happy to answer questions over email as well. But now I'm handing over to Linda, I believe, to talk to you about some medication.
Thank you, Catherine. Just before you start, Linda, are there any questions that we need to address that may have come through that we need to address in live?
I think a lot of people, well, there's a couple of questions about what happens if I don't get my visa in time. So the short answer is you need to arrive by Monday of week 2. If you can't get here by Monday of week 2, you will need to defer your offer to a future study period. And you can do that by emailing our international admissions team.
And Monday of week 2 is Monday, easy one to remember, the 1st of August.
Yes. So that's a big one, and you do have to be here in person. And if you aren't, then we cancel your COE, which means that if you've got a visa application in, you won't be able to pursue that application because your COE will be cancelled. So yeah, we know that there's a big backlog at the moment. There's a lot of stress out there, so we can't help with that, unfortunately. But that's, at least you have a definite deadline to operate to.
And then, of course, you can start next year if you can't get here in time for this year. There were a couple of other questions about some topics that we are going to cover later in the webinar, so stay tuned. Keep sending the questions you have through to the Q&A tab, but also keep an eye on the chat box, because that's where we're posting all the links. Over to you, Linda. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. So Australia has very strict rules around bringing medical supplies in. So you are allowed to carry a 3-month supply in, and I can see there's a question in the Q&A about, well, what do we do after that time? What you need to do is go and see a doctor and get a new prescription for your medication, and then you can buy it from pharmacies here. So we are a modern Western country, and we have very rarely come across any student who hasn't been able to get their medication here. So as long as, you know, bring your any documentation from your doctor back home to assist a doctor here to get you the right medication, but you should be able to just buy it here. We find, especially students from North America, find that medication tends to be a little bit cheaper here, so you shouldn't have to worry too much about that. We have what we call a GP, which is a general practitioner, who's the first doctor you see. So I think in other places they might be called a family doctor or a primary care physician. So here you see a GP. We have one on campus in Townsville and easily accessible in Cairns, and it's quite a straightforward process. So there's no need to stress about getting medication or medical care here.
I just also wanted to jump in, Linda, with a point that you may be getting to, but that's my specialty, is jumping ahead, and I like to jump ahead. Just a reminder that JCU's preferred provider for your OSHC, which is your Overseas Student Health Cover, your health insurance when you come out to Australia, our preferred provider is through Allianz. And that is because we have found they provide the best service for students. And in both Townsville and Cairns, they have more available GP clinics where you can go and you don't have to pay any money out of your own pocket, and you don't have to wait to get your money back from the insurance company. So if you haven't already decided on your policy for your OSHC, we would strongly recommend you take it out with Allianz, and they do provide great service for students. All right, Linda, I'll throw back to you.
Thank you. If we can go to the next slide, we'll talk about your well-being. So you should expect that you will have highs and lows when you get here. When you first arrive, you might go through what we call the honeymoon period, where everything is really exciting, but then you hit culture shock, where everything is strange and unfamiliar, and you feel uncomfortable all the time because nothing feels like home. Now, the good thing is that if you expect that crash is going to come, and it will be a bit of an up and down journey because you are so far away from home and away from all of your supports. But if you expect that it's going to happen, you can plan for it. So if we go to the next slide, we've got some ideas about what you can do to look after yourself and plan ahead. So plan to make the unfamiliar familiar. So these photos here are photos of people's bedrooms. Now, you might not be able to recreate that here, but you can make a few things familiar. Like, for example, prepare food that feels like home. Bring a shampoo that smells familiar, that you've used for a long time, and that might make you feel more comfortable here. Even if you play music that sounds familiar, that will all work to make you feel a bit more comfortable and settle in a bit quicker. The other thing is to think about, how do you cope at home? do you like to walk your dog when you're feeling stressed at home? In that case, maybe you can go to the dog park and pat some other people's dogs. Do you exercise? Do you call your mum? Make sure you're planning to replicate your coping mechanisms that you use at home here. Now, the other thing is that when you're in Australia, you should plan to look after your well-being. It's normal to spend time on your well-being and ask for help when you need it. Now, we know that in some cultures, that's just not what you do. You look after yourself. Whereas here in Australia, we encourage people to ask for help when they need it. And so we would therefore encourage you to put your Australian hat on and act a little bit Australian while you're here, just so that you can get the help that you need. We also offer wellbeing services that are free for students, so you can access counselling for free. You can also access our accessibility services, which is if you have a temporary or long-term disability, mental or physical illness or condition that you need help accessing your studies, they will help work that out for you. And we also have a multi-faith chaplaincy. So we've got a chaplain on campus and a space so that you can participate in your faith while you're here. And they can also link you up with faith communities in Townsville and Cairns. So there's a whole section of our website with information on that, but everything I've just talked about will help you settle in more here and find your home away from home.
Thanks, Linda.
No worries.
That was really important, some of that stuff about trying to make things familiar while you're away from all your support services. Another point I just wanted to remind you, in the chat box, there are so many great links. You should be copying them and pasting them into a document so you can refer to them later, all about how much medication, what you can and can't bring into the country, which is what I'm going to talk a little bit more about now. When you are coming to Australia, you will have an international flight that allows a certain amount of baggage. It could be up to 32 to 35 kilograms of extra baggage you're allowed to bring. And that's great. But then when you get into Australia, you'll probably be landing in Melbourne or Sydney or Brisbane. You might go straight to Cairns, but you might not. So when you land in one of the capital cities, then you're going to be connecting with a domestic flight up to Townsville or to Cairns. Now, in Australia, most of our domestic airlines only allowed 20 or 23 kilograms of luggage. So we have had students who got caught not having paid for the extra baggage, and then they get to the domestic internal flight and have to pay an enormous amount of money to pay for the extra baggage. So I strongly encourage you to check the baggage limits on your airlines, and make sure, if you need to, purchase the extra baggage with your ticket when you're booking your flight. Really important. Another important thing is please make sure you have photocopies of all your important documentation, including your tickets, your passport, and other important things that you will need. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. Australia has very, very strict biosecurity rules, and that basically means they are very strict on things that you can and cannot bring into the country in your baggage. There's a link that will be posted in the chat with all the information about this. I strongly recommend you and any family members that are coming with you, or any family members or friends that are posting things out to you when you are here, take a really careful look at that information. There are rubbish bins when you get to the airport that you can dump any of the prohibited items in, and you need to declare what you have brought with you on the passenger declaration form that you will get when you're on your flight. So be really, this is a really strict process, and there are very, very heavy fines if you provide misleading information or if you provide false information. So please take this very seriously and take the time to go and check out the list of things that you can and you cannot bring into the country. Essential items to bring, as I said before, photocopies of your flights, your tickets, your passport, any health or education documentation. So people have been posting in the questions that they have a particular health condition. So bring copies of a letter from your doctor, preferably in English, or have it translated. If you can also bring copies of any education. So some students may be on conditions that when they get here, they need to provide their academic transcript from their high school or their previous education provider. So make sure you have all that. And I would also suggest you don't pack all of the important documents in with your checked luggage, because on very rare occasions, your luggage goes missing for days. And you need to have all your important documentation in your carry-on luggage. Now, for some people who've traveled a lot around the world, this might be information that you think, oh, of course we know to do that, Louise. But other people who haven't traveled a lot, really, these kind of things can make your trip a lot less stressful if you have all your documentation with you. Okay, what to pack? In the beautiful sunny far north Queensland, we have beautiful winters. Our minimum is usually around 15 degrees Celsius. And our maximums are still around 26 degrees Celsius. So you don't need a whole lot of snow gear and winter gear. You do need maybe one jacket or a couple of pullovers. And basically you pack for summer conditions for most of the year. Please, if you do have some traditional costume or traditional outfit that you wear for ceremonies, please bring that with you, because we do have some important celebrations where you will have the opportunity to wear those special clothes. Of course, we've talked about medication, but also if you have any, if you're bringing particular electronic equipment that you need an adapter, because the power system in Australia is probably going to be different to your home country. So bring an adapter so we don't blow up your hairdryer or your straightener or your whatever it might be. All right, I think I have covered off everything there. Do we have any questions that need answering in the live while we're going? Does anybody want to? Linda, do we have any questions that need to be answered?
No, so far I think we're staying on top of most of the questions. So one was about where to get things posted, and so directly to your accommodation. There's a few things about medication, but like we said, you'll just have to get it once you're here. Yeah, so there's a few things about medication and that sort of thing. If I land before my OSHC begins, so if you do plan to get here early, you can just change the start date of your OSHC directly with your OSHC provider, or you can purchase extra cover for those extra few weeks at the start.
I absolutely, strongly, absolutely must insist that you have your OSHC cover for the whole time that you are in Australia from the day you land, because you know, you don't want to be caught out in a situation where you're going to be having to pay for medical costs that could have been avoided. All right, we're going to kick on because we are getting to the close-ish to the end, but we have still a little bit more to cover off. A reminder, all this information is in the pre-departure guide that is on the website, that the link has already been shared. All right, so what to expect when you arrive. Before you get on the flight from your home country, a week before, so 7 days before you travel, you will need to start and complete the Digital Passenger Declaration, or the DPD. So you can start at 7 days before you travel, but you must submit it within 72 hours of your departure time. What this is the Australian government's way of ensuring all passengers that enter Australia have declared their health status and their travel intentions. So you will need all the kind of information like your passport, your flight numbers, the flight history of where you have been, where you are going, your COVID vaccination record, and you will need to have copies of your international COVID vaccination certificate or your ICVC. All this information is on the Home Affairs website. We also are going to post in the chat box a video you can watch on YouTube, which is a walkthrough of how to set up the DPD. It's an app, you just download it onto your smartphone, or you can also do it online. So this has only been introduced since COVID, and as long as you're familiar with it, you do need to have this completed before you board your flight. Okay, so we've gone through that. COVID-19 information. You do not need to have a PCR test to enter Australia now, but you do need to show that you're fully vaccinated. You may need to still wear a mask on the plane or in airports, just depending on what time you travel and which country you're traveling through. You just need to check if you're transiting through other countries or other states, what their requirements are. Please make sure you have a copy of your COVID vaccination record with you. That's very important. And the girls are going to put the links into the chat now. Please familiarise yourself with that and keep up to date, because as we all know, in COVID land, the rules can change very quickly. All right, what else to expect when you arrive? You're going to have beautiful weather when you get to Far North Queensland. Why are we going back to that one?
And do you want me to take over from here, Lou?
I'd love you to quickly do the weather, because we had lots of questions that we had to address, which is excellent because that's the purpose of today, but we do still have a bit to get through. Thanks, Linda.
No worries. Okay, so when you arrive, the first thing to be prepared for is the weather. Now, you're lucky that you are arriving in our winter, which, as you can tell, is glorious and is usually around the same as other people experience in summer. So in Cairns, you can expect the average temperatures around 26 degrees Celsius, and in Townsville, it's around the same as well. If you were getting here in summer, you could expect terrible humidity and heat. So the other thing to expect is jet lag. So we do recommend that you arrive with a little bit of time to recover from your jet lag. It's usually 1 to 2 time zones per day. So if you have a 16-hour time difference, you'll expect it'll take you at least 8 to 16 days to recover. We want you to be fresh and ready to go right from orientation. So if you can arrive with some time before then, you'll have a much better time. The other thing to expect is we are very lucky to have a great deal of wildlife around us in Townsville and Cairns. However, if you're not used to it, you can find the white noise is a bit strange and confronting. Now, the top left picture, you can see there is a gecko. They live inside people's houses. So it might be strange to share your home with an animal or more than one animal. These geckos also make strange clicking noises, so just be prepared for that. The other thing that you might expect at night time is those birds in the bottom right are called bushstone curlews, and they can make a very eerie wailing sound, which from students who've arrived have told us that it is very weird to hear on your first night. And if you think that it's a small child being hurt, it stops you from sleeping. If you know that it's just a bird going about its business, it makes it a bit easier to cope with. Now, shopping. In Cairns, the nearest shopping centre is Smithfield, and it's only a 2.5 kilometre trip down the road. In Australia, our shopping centres tend to not be open really late, so just be mindful that if you try to go at 10 o'clock at night, it will be shut. In Townsville, our nearest shopping centre is called Stockland. It's a little bit further away, but the buses go directly there, and it's just a 15-minute ride on a bike if you have one. Somebody asked earlier about banking. All the major banks are at both shopping centres, so if you open a bank account online before you arrive and you need to present in person with your identity documents, it's very easy to get to the bank. And is there anything else? Oh yeah, public transport. So we have the Sun buses in Townsville and Cairns, which are the only public transport available to get around the city. You can use Google directions to get the timetable and the best route to where you want to go. You will need to have small coins or small notes to pay. And once you arrive and get your student ID card, you will be able to get the tertiary discount sticker, which means that the bus will cost 50% of the full fee. So you can do that in the student centre once you arrive. Also, we really recommend getting a bike or a scooter to get around town. So you can get cheap bikes new from the department stores, or you can buy them secondhand. Also, bikes and scooters are considered traffic here, so you need to follow the same road rules as if you were in a car. We do have hire scooters, so electric scooters that you can just rent for 5 or 10 minutes to get around campus in Townsville, and they're really great fun, but you do have to keep a bit safe. There are some rules you need to follow around that.
And we'll go through this a lot more when we get you all here in person in orientation, and we can give you some tips on where to pick up some secondhand equipment and bikes as well. Yeah,
and you can buy a used car. Townsville's quite a big city, especially in Kansas too, so you might consider buying a car, and we'll talk more about that at orientation. Now, Lou, I think you're talking about this.
This is the exciting bit. Well, it's all exciting really, but this is super duper exciting for new students who are arriving at JCU in 2022, only this year, not next year. JCU is offering everybody who is eligible a $5,000 Australian relocation grant as a warm welcome to you. This is a one-off payment, and if you are eligible, you will receive it after you've attended the compulsory orientation day. So we will email you an email with the instructions on how to check your bank details and all the information you need to receive that $5,000 payment. You could expect to receive it about 2 to 3 weeks after orientation, because it takes a little while to process hundreds of these payments. And once again, you just need to check if you are eligible. It's not available for some students, but the eligibility criteria are on the website, and the girls have shared that in the chat box now. If you're not eligible for the relocation grant, you may be eligible for the relocation allowance, which is slightly less. It's a $2,000 one-off payment, and that's for a different category of students. So please, I encourage you to check out the eligibility criteria. If you are eligible, you will receive an email from us after you have attended the orientation with all the instructions on how to receive that payment. So that's very exciting. I wish I was a new student getting that. Okay, next we are going to talk about the orientation. And I think I'm going to throw to the lovely Catherine to talk to you about this one.
Awesome, thanks Lou. So as we've mentioned before, international orientation, the compulsory session is on Monday the 18th of July in both Townsville and Cairns. It officially starts off at 9 a.m, but please come from even 8 o'clock onwards to just register your arrival and make sure you know where you're going as well. We go through tons of information during this session, information about your student visa requirements, overseas student health cover, how to enroll, all the different support services. So it's a really great day. It's quite a full, very big day for you, but you get to meet all of your fellow new international students. You get to meet us, and we also have some lovely Crocs who I'll talk about shortly in a moment. If you're coming to this session, we will be providing morning tea and lunch. And we do try to cater for most people's dietary requirements. But if you do have a really sort of serious food allergy, please let us know. You can either pop it in the chat box to us now and just let us know which campus you're coming to, or feel free to send us an email to internationalsupport@jcu.edu.au. And as well, if you have a disability as well that we need to cater for you, please let us know. Yeah, so CROCs. So CROCs are actually, it stands for Champions Responsible for Orientating Commencing Students. Each of you will be assigned to a CROC. A CROC, we in the international team, we love lots of acronyms, and Alex, when you meet him, when you arrive, he likes coming up with all these funny little acronyms. But you will be assigned to a CROC, and you will meet your CROC at the orientation day. And a CROC is a person international student who's been here for a while, knows exactly what you're going through. It's a great resource for you. You'll be able to ask them lots of questions, not only just at the orientation day, but also in the weeks following on from orientation. So it's good to get a student perspective. Feel free to use them as much as you need to. You'll have their contact details at orientation. Cool. Thanks, Lou.
Thanks, Linda, and thanks to everyone in the team today for contributing. That's a wrap for us. The contacts for our team are on the screen now. So if you haven't already got that down, please do. Please check out the JCU International YouTube channel. That's really handy for getting a real insight into what you can expect when you get to JCU. And also, once again, please look at the pre-departure guide. It has all the information with all the links and everything. Don't forget to book the arrival service if you've already got your travel sorted out. And we really are looking forward to welcoming you on campus. You're going to have lots of fun at JCU, as well as get an awesome education. And yeah, please send through any questions if you have them to the international support email there. That's it from us. Safe travels, and hopefully those of you who are still waiting on a visa get your visa very soon. All right, would everyone just like to turn their camera on and say goodbye?
See you later. Can't wait to see you all soon.
Bye, everybody.
Good meeting you.
Thanks, guys. I'll end the webinar now. Thank you.